time.
Who are these socials?
Taking down the other podcasts one by one.
Who are these socials?
That clip is why people make fun of you.
With Karl
This is all just for the radio.
and Mike.
We have a lot of business to take care of.
Who are these
We are
socials?
the number one podcast on the internet today.
WATS.
Welcome to yet another episode of WATS, the show thousands of people come to answer the age-old question, what's the deal with social media? This is the only show about social media that didn't even want to get invited to Hackamania. I'm your host, Karl Hamburger. With me, as always, is Mike Geary, a.k.a. Blind Mike. What's up, Mike?
Well, just remember, if it ain't stiff, it ain't worth a fuck. That's what I always say.
There are rumors going around that the Aussie guy will be a permanent co-host on WATP, and that I won't read your super chats. The latter is simply not true. I will read every super chat that comes in. And of course, you can always take advantage of the super tip system. Go to supertip.gg/WATP, and you can use one of the AI voices to communicate with us on the show and help support the show as well. We appreciate when you do that. Mike, I do have a flight. We're doing a special time today, noon on Thursday. I have a flight to Vegas in a little bit, so we're going to keep things moving pretty quickly and get right into it.
All right.
Here come the guys with the banter. The frosted tips, yeah. Here come the guys with the banter. The other can't see shit, yeah. Here come the guys with the banter.
And I think we have to address this right out of the gates.
I was hoping.
Yes. Because I got to watch a little bonus episode of the Blind Mike Project this week. I was tuning in, and Mike was going over the segment we did with the Aussie guy at WATP, where the Aussie guy tried to call Mike out for the way that he was treated when he was invited to go on the Blind Mike Project. And I have to tell you, my thought when you were going through that video with Craig was the same thing that you recently reminded me Brian Regan said when he forgot to do his science project. And they're like, what is this? It's like, oh, it's dirt in a cup. And he's like, well, explain it. It's like, just give me an F and move on, please.
I think we realized that at some point.
I'm just like, I'm sitting there as you go through every excruciating detail. I'm like, Mike, if I told you the note I sent to my editors, I'm like, if you could cut most of this out, that'd be great.
No, I said I wanted it to feel exactly as long as it felt to the viewer watching.
It really did. I think he did an hour and a half on just that segment of the show. And God bless Craig. I like that he thinks that there's multiple Karl Hebergers that support you on Patreon. But yeah, no, that is me.
Yeah, that's a reasonable because John told us all how to spell your name. So that's a reasonable
true. That's a good point.
count.
Yeah, that is a good point. But no, Craig, that was me in the chat.
Okay, good.
Just
well,
FYI.
I've ruminated on this, and I think here's what I realized and came up with. The reason I thought it was such a serious thing is because I don't like if it was a normal if you also did a segment where it's like I saw a Tukey at the grocery store and he gave me a dirty look and it's a lie, we were kidding.
Yeah,
then I would have been like, oh, it's
style.
my time to think. But I think the other thing is like if you had Craig on to do that, I would have been like, the guys, my buddies are busting my chops.
Yeah.
I don't really know this guy. So I was like, oh, I've offended him in some way that he would carry on for 20 minutes with no jokes about how I was rude to him once. So I was like, oh, this must be a thing that like I'm rude to people and don't see how so I was shocked when I messaged him and was like, hey man, sorry if I offended you. And he was like, oh, that was a joke. I was like, what was a joke?
I know. You messaged both of us. And let me give you a little peek behind the scenes so that you understand how this went down.
Yeah.
The Aussie guy, the day before his appearance, sent me a message and goes, hey, you know what? Scrap the Blind Mike thing. I think I'm going to do a Gino segment instead. And I went, all right, whatever.
Okay.
And then day of, he goes, no, never mind. I'm going to do Blind Mike. And he sent me over those 5 clips. Now, I didn't watch the clips ahead of time. I didn't know what they were going to be. And so when you hear me going, all right, I don't know where he's going with that. And I couldn't really rush him along because I didn't know where he was going.
So the other thing I realized, because I was like, well, Karl's not cutting this off. Maybe he's like, yeah, Mike does this to me too. I thought back to, I can't remember what the segment was exactly, but I remember even you said it was like the worst segment you've ever done. It was that couple that was on. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh God, yes. They did that cook guy.
Yeah.
And they came on and they just talked over everything. I couldn't get them to shut up.
And it made me realize we just have opposite styles in the sense that I'll pull the ripcord. Even if I just hear a stammer, I'm pulling. What the fuck is this? I'm out. We're done. Whereas you'll try and like coach the guy along and be like, "Well, did something funny happen? Maybe I'm the way to you waiting for an hour. What? Maybe perhaps you slipped in mud and ruined your pants."
You're right. I need to be better. I need to just move on when things aren't working. It's a good lesson that I learned. But the Aussie guy had sent me a message. It really wasn't. It wasn't great. It wasn't that bad, but it didn't work out the way that I had hoped it would.
And to be clear, like if you go watch my thing, I hope it came across that my thing was not like, fuck these guys. It wasn't, I was mad or I was offended. I was like, oh, I hope I didn't hurt these guys' feelings because it came across to be so serious.
What I appreciated from your segment, responding to our segment, was that, you came in going, I think Karl and Aussie guy both hate my guts. And Craig goes, I'm pretty sure Karl's joking.
Yeah.
And then you did come around on your second listen, I think, and realized that I was trying to sprinkle in some humor.
Right, where are we going with this?
every now and again, I was trying to do something. Yeah. All right. Before we get into our Guess the Sound, which is going to be our first segment today, I definitely want to thank some people.
Yay, super chat.
You better. In a year, it might come up if you don't.
Right. Especially J Max 479, who just gifted 5 Who Are These Podcast memberships. Thank you very much for doing that. Very generous of you. And what that does is it gives people the ability to watch our bonus shows that we put out 2 every single month under the membership tab. And you can also watch the live shows on Saturdays. Not this Saturday, because I'm going to be on Hackamania. But on every other Saturday, you can watch that live. We've put the link there in the membership tab. These came in last night on Who Are These Podcasts a little bit late. Tim Bollinger says, you broke my heart, Cardiff, on supertip.gg/WATP. And then after that, he wrote, I thought I was still watching live and I was 12 minutes behind. So those came in after the show ended, so we didn't get to those. But thank you, Tim Bollinger. I'll see you in Vegas probably later today.
I do think 2 Minutes with Tom is my favorite of the Cardiff games.
I know. I complimented him yesterday. I was very impressed with what he's finding.
Yeah.
Did you hear what his method is for finding Tom Myers videos?
Yes. We haven't seen the lowest viewed
Tom Myers videos. Like, that's brilliant. I've never heard these jokes before. It's great. I have won 3 in a row, by the way, of 2 Minutes with Tom. I just want to gloat.
To suck your own dick.
I just want to gloat for a second on that. Turbo 7049 coming in.
Karl, Craig is a weetard and mess up my live show date. Can I do it on June 20th and make it part of your event?
Not unless all the attention goes to me as well as a generous taste of the door.
My God.
That was our behind the scenes conversation that somebody recorded.
I thought about suggesting this, but Craig in his great wisdom is booking the event in a different state than I live in. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to do it the night before the WATP event.
Where is this event going to take place?
New Hampshire.
Why?
Because Craig lives there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now it all makes sense.
As long as it's good for him. That's what I was
now it all makes sense. Yeah, because he's the one who has a hard time with mobility.
Yeah,
so yeah, it makes sense
exactly.
for him.
Karl say, Mike, hey, guess the sound. Is it girls farting or cute bunny rabbits snoring?
All right, we're going to play a round of Guess the Sound. This is where my co-host Blind Mike tries to figure out what we're all watching. And if you're listening to the podcast, you can play along. This is a little bit different. It comes in from Psychotic on the Discord. And you have to guess what is making this sound. The sound will be familiar. But what is making this sound?
Interesting. All right.
Mike, what's making that sound?
I do like this game show.
I always wanted to be a game show host.
Boy, it sounds like an alarm of some kind. But the second time around, I'm thinking, based on the context of this video as well, I'm thinking maybe it's an animal I'm going to say some kind of bird.
Yes, you got it, my friend. Right. Well done. That is a correct answer for you.
All right.
This bird, it says the world's most evil little bird has appeared. That it has learned how to mimic an alarm clock. Could you imagine living with that thing?
That is obnoxious.
It's awful.
It'd be better if it did one of the songs, like one of the melodic.
Correct. Yeah, like your iPhone wakes you up with.
Yeah.
Let's hear that again. It's amazing how this thing sounds. What an asshole. I never want to hear that.
It's very impressive.
It is very, very impressive. All right, I want to get over to some music to start off our social media rampage.
Who are these music? Who are these music?
Paul emailed this in. He says, not sure if you had any interest in this for WATS or WATP, but Mike David, you familiar with Redbar?
Very much, yeah.
So Mike David recently covered Kanye's new song.
Yes, I heard about this.
And apparently Kanye's team retweeted it and were pretty excited about his version of this. Now, I saw Mike David not too long ago. He was covering a NoFX song that I like a lot and nailing it. He's very good. His voice is very good. He's playing the guitar and stuff. Okay. And on this one, he's playing bass guitar and singing this new Ye song. And he's got the voice modulator and everything. Check this out. This is him playing it live.
Did you see the Cousin song that I tweeted?
Oh, yeah, the remix?
Yeah. Man, that made me cry.
See you outside again, just hanging out with your friends. Hanging with my cousin, reading dirty magazines. We see two niggas kissing, we know what that shit means. Then we start reenacting everything that we had seen. That's when I gave my cousin head, gave my cousin head, gave my cousin head. I gave my cousin head. I gave my cousin head. See you outside again, just hanging out with your friends. And I know this thing's about to judge me now. I know this thing's about to judge me now. Started out when we was hanging out. Started out.
Anyway, you get the point.
I know that's auto-tune, but that's really good.
It's very good. Mike David, he's got the set where the full band set up, the drum set and the amps and the pedal boards and everything.
Yeah.
And I always thought there was just like a part of his set, just like a gimmick thing, but he's a pretty good musician.
Right, yeah, I never knew that. Oh, good for him.
Yeah, so he's singing the Ye song about sucking off his cousin.
It'd be great if the next step is Kanye being on to talk about like Patrick Melton and Tony Hinchcliffe and shit.
Yeah, he gets sucked into the Dabbleverse.
Yeah.
That'd be great. I heard Jules is obsessed with the Dabbleverse. I heard her say that on Redbar, so... there's a guy that I recently covered. We covered a show called That's Enough with Grace Ryder, and she had a guest on named Kyle Gordon. We covered this on WATP. And Kyle Gordon is this musician who writes like funny songs and does, it's like a Lonely Island kind of vibe to it. They're originals, but they're silly, and he's music videos with them and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And so the Hebrew Hammer pointed this video out recently of him at a live show and things not going well for him.
POV, you go to a Kyle Gordon concert.
Why am I fucking here, okay? I've been doing comedy since 2014, and if you're not gonna fucking get it, then you can fucking, then you fuck you!
No.
Okay, so that's him yelling at the crowd, getting booed off the stage as he throws a little fit. What's lame about this is how this is all orchestrated. This is the behind the scenes of how this came to be.
All right, so me and the band Mojo Hand, we've been putting out videos, and we've tried to create a narrative that I'm completely losing my mind and becoming a maniac asshole. And so what I want everyone to do right now, we're going to film something really quick. I want everyone to be completely silent, and I'm gonna have a meltdown, and then Joe, the bass player over there, he's gonna take me off stage. Once I get off stage, I want everyone to boo very loud, okay? But until he takes me off stage, I want everyone to be silent, okay? Ready? All right. You fucking people don't respect me. Why am I fucking here, okay? I've been doing comedy since 2014, and if you're not gonna fucking get it, then you can fucking, then you fucking.
How lame is that?
Well, you got us, you son of a bitch.
Thank you so much. We've just created it. Thank you.
Ugh.
I think it'd be better. I like the concept, but we don't know this guy. Like it'd be better. Like the first thing I thought of was Joaquin Phoenix on Letterman.
Right. Yes.
Where it's like, oh, we know this guy and he's having a meltdown. Like, I don't give a fuck if this guy has a meltdown.
Right. Yeah. That's a good point. He's popular in some area. We don't know anything about him.
Yeah.
I just thought it wasn't even well executed. So he sets up the crowd to do this thing. It could have been better. It could have been a better meltdown. If I had seen that, I'd be like, oh, whatever.
You have to make sure no one's recording the first part.
Well, yeah, that's,
you know.
All right, guys, put your phones down for a second. I'm going to tell you a secret between us. Then we'll get back to it.
Yeah.
All right, let's head over to YouTube because you were checking out my buddy Chille DeCastro.
Yeah.
I'll stop the show and watch YouTube.
Delete Laws put out a video that's just titled Karen.
Yeah, you guys know those Karen videos on the internet where you run up to someone and accost them and make them be part of your thing, and they're pretty much perfectly polite. Those Karen videos that everyone talks about.
It's so funny. He labeled this all capital letters Karen, and this is what we see.
Okay, we just have a difference of opinion.
No. You have no experience. You just told me you've never been in torture cuffs. And I invited you to come down and let me put you in torture cuffs for 15 minutes.
Watch.
My cousin changed her opinion when I put her in cuffs for 20 minutes. She then decided they were torture. But you first have to be put in them just for 20 minutes.
I think there's a lot there. Starting with the idea that you go up to a stranger and say, "Can I put you in handcuffs?"
Yeah, there's probably some issues that can arise from that, I would imagine.
Yeah, but they're having a debate. For anyone that doesn't know, his big cause. Say what you want about BLM and like the shit that went on in 2020. At least there was a death involved. Chille DeCastro's entire platform about these torture cuffs is they're uncomfortable. The handcuffs are uncomfortable that they put us in. Stop making them so uncomfortable. And he's very passionate about this. And this lady, her rebuttal is, I think they're kind of supposed to be uncomfortable.
Yeah. The conversation they have the whole time, she's like, I don't know what your definition of torture is, but it's not torture just because you're uncomfortable.
Right. They're uncomfortable.
Pain.
And he goes, I'll show you how torturous they are. I made a loved one do it.
Yeah, what a guy. And I got to ask you this. I know that he has some kind of alternative. He's got some weird ideas, but doesn't like every country use handcuffs?
Yeah, I mean,
criminals. This isn't like a U.S. only thing, is it? I
think I was zip tied when I was arrested. I think they used those zip tie ones on me, and like it was uncomfortable. I wasn't like, ooh, my wrist. I can't move. Like it's whatever.
And Chille points it out. He's like, if you watch these cop cam videos, everyone complains about the handcuffs. They're all crying about how much it hurts. Like, yeah, they're being bitches. They also can't breathe in the back of a cop car for some reason. They're going to sue the police department. Like, the reason why these videos go viral is because the people react poorly.
If we're comparing it to prison rape, I think people would much prefer to be handcuffed.
Yeah, correct. Correct. All right, let's continue on here in this video.
So this is my channel right here.
Yeah.
See that? Mm-hmm. And this is where they put me in jail for filming a cop.
Yeah, okay.
And then I sat in that dungeon for 4 months, was treated absolutely horribly. Mm-hmm. And then I got out on appeal because I didn't do anything wrong but film a cop.
Listen. I have no disagreement with the prison system. Once you get into the prisons, it sucks. It's stupid. Yeah, I don't have any disagreement with that.
Right.
But I do think people should get arrested if they've committed crimes.
You think they should be arrested?
Yes.
You shouldn't get a ticket if you're not a danger to society?
No, because you give them a ticket and they drive away, and they're drunk.
Well, if they're drunk, then you impound their car.
No, you take them out of the car. What if there's kids sitting in the car?
You take the kids.
And they do impound the car. They drag the car away.
Right, so then you don't need to put that person in a cage because they can't drive anymore.
So you just let them go
And you
and
give them
they
a ticket,
get an
and then
Uber?
they have to go to court. Yeah, they get an Uber and they go home. Right, because you don't need to put them in a dungeon.
No, but they've been driving drunk. It's illegal to drive drunk.
So then they should go to a jail?
They have to. They go to jail. They get, and then they get.
And that's a whole industry, a whole system where people are making money, tons of money.
Yeah.
Remember Trump got charged and he had to go down to the jail? Why was that? Because you have to go through the process so the jail can make money. Ding, did the light come on right there?
No.
I just saw a light come on. Did it?
No, it was more like, oh my God.
You're a fucking idiot. He's like, I got you thinking.
Yeah, I know. This woman was looking at him like, oh my gosh, I can't have a conversation with this guy. And his thought is, I turned another one. I've converted another one to my thinking.
Chille is the personification of those videos that have like dramatic music and put your words in slow-mo. Like he's like, torture cuffs, dungeon. Ooh, am I scaring you? It's like, no, you put him in handcuffs and put him in jail. That's what we do. It's normal. You broke the law.
Yeah. I love what Chille thinks we should do. So you find someone who's driving drunk with children in the car, and you're supposed to just pull Paula Poundstone out, give her a noogie, and let her go on her way. Like, yeah, you go down to the
all right, sober up, kid. Go home.
Yeah, right. And if you kids know how to drive this thing, get your mom home for us, will you?
It reminds me of remember he said what should you do when a criminal runs away because you're not handcuffing them? And he said you shoot them with silly putty.
That's right.
And the silly putty has a tracking device in it. Like he lives in this fantasy land where just let the criminals go and they're like boomerangs. They'll find their way back to you.
Right, yes. And I don't know if he realizes what the police have to deal with on a daily basis. Like he likes to go to like traffic stops,
right?
Routine things. There's a lot of very dangerous criminals out there that I would prefer to be locked up.
And this woman just keeps making good, and it doesn't seem like she's like dug her heels in on this. She doesn't really give a fuck.
Right.
But she's like, well, these things are in place because, like, if you've seen them, a lot of people are maniacs, particularly if they're drunk. They're flailing their arms around. They'll try and get violent with the police officer. They'll fucking head. You need to detain these people. That's what detaining is.
Mm-hmm.
Time. You look at these people, they're out of control. They're driving drunk. They got kids in the car. They're swerving. They're going through red lights.
You're watching cop channels and then coming to a person who's an activist and saying, hey, the cop channels are all showing us the bad parts. What about the cops who beat, abuse, kill?
That's wrong too.
Why don't you show them all the negative parts? Like I
torture because they can get 2 fingers in there. That's what you said. They're not torture because you can get 2 fingers in there.
Okay, so we have a basic difference of perception.
Well, because you've never been put in cuffs.
I cannot convince you that you're wrong.
No,
you cannot convince me that.
No,
I'm
because
wrong.
you won't go through the experience. Listen,
I don't care.
You can come down to my studio,
I don't want
put you in
to.
cuffs,
No, I don't want
and then
to.
you'll see how painful they are.
Oh, it's painful, I'm sure.
So that's a good thing.
I think it's like that's the way it is because if they're loose, they get out of them. Why have them be loose so you can get out of them?
Or give them the option to get in the car and go with you.
Come on.
Do you want to ride with us? No? Okay. I mean, I'm sure it's comfortable back here.
The cop says to his partner, so he called shotgun. You got to sit in the back.
Yeah, you got to get in the back. He's calling the radio station too, by the way. So who is this woman? Why is Chille talking to her about this?
I was looking for that. It seems like, especially based on the video, it seems like he walks up to her. Do you like handcuffs? And she's like, huh? And he's like, torture cuffs. Are you against them? And she's like, I don't know. I'm sure in certain situations they're fine. And he's like, you bitch, I've got you right where I want you. I look like the description of the video, believe it or not, is just get your trifolds.
Yep.
So
I saw that. I read that too. I'm like, what is this? What am I watching?
Yeah. So I was looking for more. It seems like, unless he refutes it somewhere that I couldn't find, it's just a lady he accosted at her place of business or whatever she was doing.
This is like if I did a random interview with someone and I'm just like, don't you think Brendan Schaub sucks at podcasting? Right. Don't you think he's a terrible podcaster? Guy's like, yeah, I've heard he's not great. I don't watch his show. No, doesn't he suck? You got to come to my house and watch Brendan Schaub with me. You won't believe how bad this guy sucks.
And that's where guys like Chille don't realize no matter what you're saying, you're wrong. Because like in your argument, sure, Brendan Schaub sucks. But the guy you found on the street who's like, I'm sure he's fine. He's right because you're attacking him for some reason.
He's got no dog in the race. There's no reason for this. This woman's just like, I don't know. And she's even like giving in on things. She's like, yeah, the prison system's not great. We can reform things. You know, she's not like sitting there just arguing with everything he says like he is.
Right, exactly.
She seems very reasonable, I guess is the point.
Very, yeah.
Cops are scum.
I know
Cops are
how
scum.
it is.
They're absolute scumbags.
Yeah.
And the only reason they signed up, a third of them, is because they went to the military.
Yeah.
And they get back here and they were taught that
So
everyone
here,
wants to
this
kill
is
them.
why I say we have a basic difference of
Do
perception.
you think the cops are the good guys?
I think there are a lot of good cops. Yes.
Thank you so much. I would never put you in torture cuffs unless you agreed and you understood it was going to be horribly
I know,
painful.
I know.
Unless
We just
you were
have-
gonna
we
be,
just have a difference.
well, because you've never been in them though. And
So what?
so let's put you in them so you understand that they shouldn't
So
be
what if
used.
they hurt?
Why should you hurt people? We live in a digital era where you can put someone on camera and give
That's
them
what
options.
you think. I don't agree with that. That's it. Can I disagree with you?
You bet. You
Yeah,
can
that's
listen.
it. I'm just
So you'll watch some
disagreeing
of those
with
videos?
Yeah, sure. I'll watch them. Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. But you've never been in cuffs and you think they're perfectly fine. And
I think they're
not,
fine. Yeah.
They're not supposed to be
I think
comfortable.
they're
Is what
fine.
you said,
They're
right?
not supposed to be comfortable.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take
You
care.
too.
He has that
So
dismissive. Yeah.
God damn it.
And I gotta give this lady like an older woman just has this big fucking meathead come up to her and literally say, "Can I put you in handcuffs? Come on, I
Right.
want you to see how much they hurt. I'm saying it's torture, and I want to do that to you. Would you please let me?"
What does she owe Chille? I don't understand. Is she in charge of handcuff policy for the United States? Yeah, I mean, it'd be one thing he was talking to a government official who sets these standards. But it's
All
just
right,
like,
you've convinced me. She writes something down, and all of a sudden you see criminals on leashes now instead of handcuffs.
on leashes. That's fun. I actually like that idea.
Yeah.
You ready for Chille's final thought after this?
Yeah, well, this is she obviously got through to him, and he was like, "You know what? She was pretty reasonable. I'll do the same."
What a fucking wacko. And this is the reason why we're in the state that we're in right now. Because of people like her.
Wow. Wacko.
This man would have no problem dragging me off.
Oh, sorry, I just clicked the wrong. Like, that's the worst possible takeaway from the interaction that he had with this woman. Perfectly reasonable person, willing to concede some points. Chille's the unreasonable one. I want to read one of the comments from underneath this video.
Okay.
I think he goes in and deletes a lot of these because mostly people are on his side.
I'm sure.
But this woman wrote, "What a creep. Trying to lure an elderly woman to his studio to put her in handcuffs? Disgusting. Right. No wonder he was convicted as a stalker and has extensive criminal rap sheets."
Right, this could have escalated to a crime where he ended up in handcuffs if this lady was any less calm.
No, that's what he wants, I think. That's the problem with this guy. He's trying to agitate people and get them riled up so he can cause a scene. That's how he makes his content. For a while, he got away from it. Those 4 months taught him a lesson. Now he's forgetting about those days and getting right back to it again.
But it's a beautiful delusion that a lot of these people have, to have that exchange where she continuously says, and if you watch the full video, she says it like 7 or 8 times, where she's like, "Listen, man, we just have a difference of opinion, you and I. It's like, you're not going to change your mind. I'm not going to change my mind. This is just what we both believe. So what's the point of all this?" And to walk away from that exchange and go, "What a wacko."
After all of that, the most reasonable, and she even said, "Are we wasting time right now?" She was trying to get out of the conversation,
right?
But she continued to engage as long as he wanted to.
Boy, she's a real nut.
Yeah, this is the problem. This is the problem with America, right there. You just saw it, folks. What a Karen. I want to thank the fine people who are here watching us at a special time on this Thursday and supporting the show.
Yay, super chats.
People like Anonymous.
Karl, you're a genius. Listen, I need people to talk about my show. The interviews aren't doing shit for me. More Richard and Sal, more Jeff the Drunk.
Not Jeff the Drunk. Richard and Sal should just take over the show.
Yeah, I wonder at what point, like, will they just die there? Because like when Howard, by the time Howard ends up leaving, how old are they going to be? Like, will they just retire
I think this is
there?
this is Howard's last year. It's got to be.
Oh, well, yeah, but I feel like people have been saying that for a long time.
I agree, but Sirius is not. He's not the future of Sirius anymore.
They don't give a shit anymore.
They don't give a shit. They're onto podcasting. They want to own Call Her Daddy. They don't care about Howard anymore. He might go somewhere else, or he might podcast or something. But I think as soon as Richard and Sal can get away from there, and I really look forward to seeing those guys on Rogan, or who knows what they'll do.
Right. Like that's the thing is like those are the two guys, and maybe it would fail if they tried something, but those are the two guys that it seems like all Stern fans say they want, like whether it's the Jack and Rod show or whatever they would do together. Like people seem to want that more than, no one's clamoring for like what Gary does next, but those two people want to see.
Yeah, I mean, there's other talented guys over there.
Sure.
Chris Wilding and
they could all get other jobs, but I guess I mean from like a content perspective, like people want their podcast.
Yeah, we'll see. Daddy Poopy coming in.
Welcome to Who Are These Socials, where I, Carl Hamburger, talk to Blind Mike about what we talked about on WATP this week. Next up, I tell Blind Mike about my text with Shuli. Yes, that Shuli.
Shuli? Wow.
I feel like Kevin Brennan was here with us just now.
That's a decent Kevin Brennan.
That's really good.
Oh, I hope
Well
Louis
done.
J. Gomez has recovered from Kevin's skewering of him. That was tough.
Oh, God. I wanted to play. I was trying to find the original Louis J. Gomez talking about the Dabbleverse and shitting on it.
I think it might be on Twitch or something.
Okay. Because I found what looked like the same stream that they were watching. He was wearing the same clothing and everything, but I couldn't find it in the video.
Oh.
Where Louis J. Gomez is shitting on the Dabbleverse because, what am I going to talk about other guys on my show? It's like, let's not.
He's had that. He says that a lot, and it's just not. I kind of want to get Louis J. Gomez on to talk about that.
Yeah.
I think he's open-minded about it.
Yeah.
But I've heard him with that take. It doesn't really make any sense if you watch his other shows.
It doesn't make any sense. I talked about this on WTP, but my first interaction with Louis was he left me a voicemail saying, how come you never talk about Real Ass Podcast?
Right.
So we did a review of it, and then he reviewed our review.
I think Louis is basically like, I think Louis thinks of the Dabbleverse as Kevin and Gino because he knows those guys.
Yeah,
so
well,
I kind of get why you have that perspective.
He did have Shuli and Bob Levy on
right
Legion of Skanks, a year or two ago.
Yeah, and he's had Zenhauser on his other show a bunch. So
yeah, so he knows about that, and of course, Big J's a fan. Big J's talking to him about it.
Right.
But yeah, he's got a weird closed mind about the Dabbleverse, and I do get this because Jim Norton was talking about this too, and I clipped that for WATP. There are too many reaction shows talking about everybody on the internet, and not many of them do it well.
Right.
So I could see people having a take like, "Oh, this is getting old. This is getting boring,"
and a lot of it's the same. I think they're also thinking of the guys that no matter what are like Joe Rogan's an asshole. Like no matter what he says,
yes, right. There's a few of those channels that I really enjoy, like Drunk on Cringe and. What's the other one? Comedy Enforcer. I don't know.
Yeah,
whatever
Podcast
those channels.
Cringe is good. Too lazy to try.
Yeah, Too Lazy to Try. But a lot of them just rehash the same shit over and over again. And you can only tell me that Bert Kreischer has lost the thread for so many months. That I'm like, all right, well, I think that's just who he is. It's like this wasn't a big gotcha moment in Bert Kreischer's career.
Yeah,
likely. Jay Dabbler coming in. Says, despite Carl trying to set him up, I stand with Blind Mike. All right.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that.
Fair enough. I understand. Audiophile America coming in.
Would you be willing to come to my studio and let me handcuff you? I'm your Huckleberry.
See, that would have gone down. That would have gone down differently. Here's a new fun game coming in from Trent Pivo. He says, Mike, can you guess the dollar amount?
$279.
All right, that's a good guess. $199.
Damn.
Is the answer. See Kyle with a $1.99 super sticker. Thanks for that. See Kyle. Appreciate you. All right, let's head over to Reddit and see what's doing.
Who are these losers using Reddit?
What is it? Reddit!
Now, Mike was checking out the ZeroCovid community subreddit. We haven't checked in on these guys in a minute.
No. Every few months, I think to myself, well, now it's done. Certainly. They're done now.
Let's read this post that came in a day ago that's titled Harassment/Assault Due to Mask. He says, hi, guys. Due to my LC, what is LC?
Limited. I don't know.
Okay, some kind of affliction. Yeah. Due to my LC, I wear a mask everywhere I share my car with another person. Whenever I share my car with another person. My dad was just driving me home from a doctor's appointment, and we had to stop in front of a red light. It's quite warm today, so we had the windows down and the car next to us as well.
Yeah, of course.
The man in that specific car was talking to someone on the phone, was like, wait a minute, and turned towards me to ask if I'm getting ready for the gas chamber. I was so shook, as I've never dealt with harassment due to my mask before, besides getting stared at, that all I could do was start crying, and I haven't been able to stop ever since, because I'm so shook that people like that even exist. I know I should just ignore it, but how do you deal with situations like that? And how did you react the first time something like that happened to you?
I can't imagine writing down, short of like losing a family member or someone very close to you. I can't imagine typing out, all I could think to do was break down and cry.
Yeah,
and
I
be
want
like,
to come with
this
a
is why
witty
they're in the wrong.
Yeah. I wish I had a witty comeback, but instead I just started bawling hysterically like a bitch. Whoops, well, that didn't work out. I can't imagine being this fragile. I mean, Mike, you're pretty fragile, as we found out this week, but
certainly.
I can't imagine being this fragile. Like, COVID will kill this person.
Well, that's the thing is like I genuinely am sensitive, and I'll give a good cry once in a while, but I'm never like, why is the world doing this to me? I think like, hey, get it together, pal. Jesus.
All right, let's read another one of these. Professor told me not to mask. All right, that's the title, so it's already riveting stuff.
Yeah,
as you can tell. First Reddit post ever. Just needed to get this off my chest, as it's been eating me alive for over a week. I am a biotech graduate student and wanted to branch out of my field and take a workplace ethics course this semester. The first day, the professor tells me she personally doesn't like to mask. Question mark? No one else in the class masks, and I have probably several students around campus do. Fast forward, and we have a partner presentation due. My partner and I presented our project to the class. Classmates were attentive and asked great follow-up questions. The following class period, my professor took me out in the hall to tell me no one could hear me when I presented, save for her. Mortified, I asked, did they say that to you? And she said no, but she could tell they couldn't hear. She went on to say the instructors aren't allowed to mask because it muffles their voices, and that I shouldn't mask, especially if I am presenting. I was livid. I told her I taught elementary school for 2 years masked the whole time, and not a single person told me they couldn't hear me. She then said that everyone was being polite and didn't want to tell me. What the fuck? I said no one would put a child's education at risk like that. She backpedaled and told me that everyone could hear me when I presented, but facial expressions are important. Then proceeded to tell me that she knows cancer patients that don't mask and that COVID isn't airborne anyway. I am still in complete shock. No one has ever said anything like this to me before, and I have been masking since 2020. I begrudgingly accept that no one I see in my class masks, but I have never experienced this before. Complete misinformation and personally targeting me.
I like that it's even gotten so ridiculous that college campuses are looking for ways to tell these dummies, just take the fucking mask off.
Just take the mask off. I mean, when you're presenting in front of the class, it makes it difficult for people to understand what you're saying.
And another way of saying what this person wrote is, she politely tried to tell me in 3 different ways that saved my feelings.
Yep.
To take the mask off, and then finally had to give it to me straight and was like, you're just being weird.
Yeah, this professor pulled him or her aside and explained this, and not, without an audience in front of them. I'm not trying to humiliate them or anything. He just said, you should probably take the mask off, and it would make things better for everyone. You'd be able to hear you. You
no one's taking you seriously. You look psychotic.
Well, that's not what they said. That's what you and I would have said.
Yeah.
But I want to scroll down to the comments underneath this. That's always the fun part of this little subreddit here. Wisefield says, bring it up with your university/college's student services or disability team. They'll have a word and tell her to knock it off, as they should. She's being ridiculous and it's not acceptable. And then Holy Basil says, thank you. I am reaching out to student accessibility services today. And then ZeroCovid says, you need to file an ethics complaint against the professor. This is bad. There's always a procedure for filing ethics complaints against professors. I also linked an article from Psychology Today to print out and hand to anyone who is still in denial about airborne transmission.
I'm just picturing me at this services center waiting to tell them I can't see my test. What do I do? And they're like, what do you mean? She said, take the mask off.
These people all want to get someone in trouble. That's always their first thought about this. This person hurt my feelings. I want them to get in trouble for it.
Right. Good. That's good.
Cool. Yeah, that's going to fix it.
I assume saying that there's a few other students on campus is probably an exaggeration. So, like, to look around and there's no one else masked and not be like, oh, maybe it's all right. Maybe I can take this off and I'll be okay.
Trent Pivo comes in with $2 and says, no one wants to know what Chris Wilding is doing next. All right, fair enough.
I don't know him well enough to push back on you, but
yeah, I think some of the other guys that get involved in the show I was trying to think of. Let's head over to TikTok. That's where we always end up on the show.
TikTok's a psyop by the Chinese to fuck up the minds of our youth and some other people too. So let's talk quite a lot about these TikTokers we stalk and know. Oh, TikTok fucking blows.
And thank you all for being here live with us at a special time, going very early today on this Thursday. We appreciate you being here with us for the live show. This TikTok came in from Hebrew Hammer in our Discord. If you go to whoarethese.com, there's a link to our Discord server. We have a channel in there for Who Are These Socials, and people share what they think we should be talking about on there. And we've seen this trans woman before, but this one is extra ridiculous.
Trans women getting pregnant is not as far off as you'd think. In the past 10 years...
Okay. We're off to
with any luck.
I know. It's like the one advantage you have is you can't get knocked up. And by the way, the visual of this is that she is wearing a dress and has like a pregnant belly thing, you know, underneath the dress to make it look like she's pregnant.
This would be so if I can strip this down to the bare bones here. What they're saying is we're very close to getting men pregnant, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, good. I'm making sure I'm following.
Yes, thanks for
Trans
clarifying.
Women getting pregnant is not as far off as you'd think. In the past 10 years, 50 babies have been born from a uterus transplant. How this works is a person with a damaged or missing uterus gets a new uterus. Then they get pregnant, then they give birth to a child via C-section. The implanted uterus is then removed so that the person doesn't need to be on anti-rejection meds for the rest of their life. So far, these implants have only been attempted on cis women, but there's nothing that says it couldn't work on a trans woman. After all, my hormone levels are pretty similar to a cisgender woman. So why not? The main thing in the way is that the science is new, so there aren't enough surgeons out there to do the testing. So it's less about if we can do it and more about when we can do it. Imagine a trans woman using her own DNA along with her partner's egg to create life. Wouldn't that be incredible? Some researchers think it's already possible.
Yeah, you're making a lot of assumptions here. That's actually, I didn't even pick up on that the first time I watched it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
To create life. Wouldn't that be incredible? Some researchers think it's already possible and that it'll be attempted in the next year or two. Now, to be clear, I don't want kids. And even if this was an option, I wouldn't be interested. But there are so many trans women out there who want this, and they have just as much of a right to pregnancy as anyone else. Let's get this thing off. See, it was fake.
A right to pregnancy? What the fuck is she talking about? What is a right to pregnancy?
Well, equal rights. I should shove a kid out of my twat if I want to.
Yeah, Mike, you have just as much of a right to pregnancy as anyone else, I suppose.
This is like if through some miracle of science, only women got in car accidents. And I was just, I hate being a boy. I just hate it.
It reminds me of, all this controversy over trans people in the military. We should be allowed to get shot in the desert. You're like, no, this is a good thing they won't let you in the military. You realize that, right? It's not really a great gig.
There's no woman in the history of mankind that's ever describing what she goes through in pregnancy with sore nipples and the blowing out of your pussy and all these things, and then looks at me and goes, jealous. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. And the guys are all just like, I wish I could get pregnant. God damn it! It's not fair.
Penis.
It's not fair at all. Yeah, they're inventing problems that don't exist.
Yeah,
but I guess they're bored. I guess they're looking for
a nice place to be in a way, I guess.
Yeah, true. Things have gotten a little bit too good for us in this society. You want to check it out, GG33?
I would love to. I always wonder what he's up to.
I actually think this video pairs very nicely with the video that we just watched.
Yeah. You know what? We need two extremes in this country.
Yep.
Did you know women hold 75% of all debt in this nation?
I am willing to make a deal. Us men will take that
credit and wipe it off. We'll put that debt on our backs and we will work it off for 10, 15 years and give up money to cover your debt. But guess what? You got to do one thing. You just have to give up your right to vote. And that way, we have something that's fair.
I'm okay with that. I say that all the time.
How does he always find these people?
Mike, I am officially a GG33 guy. I am so with them on this. Now, I don't want to take out the debt. They can pay off their own debt. But having women not vote anymore would be amazing.
And really, the only shame of it is we have to wait 3.5 years for him to be president. That's.
Do you think he wants to run? Is that why?
I hope so. Yeah.
I don't understand this thing where we live in a country where you can change your gender. If you really want to vote. So, if we say that women can't vote anymore, it's like, well, if you want to vote, just become a man.
Yeah, you want to vote? How badly?
Yeah, how badly do you want to vote? It's possible. Yeah. We allow people to do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, some good ideas coming out. This guy isn't just about numbers anymore.
No, it's about time that he starts doing instead of just thinking.
He really has become crazy, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's always been, I think just naturally with the shit that he does, there's always some level of conspiratorial, but like now he really gets into the Illuminati. And even that video we watched a few weeks ago where he's like, you want to pay $30,000 or whatever the crazy number was for his class? He's like, his idea is like, he's going to let you know what the Illuminati is doing. So yeah, he's a bit bonkers.
Speaking of bonkers.
Sitting in my mobile coffee shop, making videos about my transvestite children for TikTok.
Now there is a viral video that everybody knows about with this woman. What we see in the video is there's a guy who comes up to this woman on the playground and says, hey, you just called that little black child the N-word.
Right.
We don't actually see her do it, but we hear this guy accuse her of that. And then he goes, why don't you say that to me? And then she does multiple times. And then he goes, oh, cool. I'm going to ruin your life now by putting this video out. And of course she was doxxed and everyone knows who she is. And lots of fun things came from that that we'll get into. But first, let's get our boy Dan Alexander's take on this.
Good.
Because he finds this to be an opportunity to tell us what's for, Mike.
Yeah, this is actually a good thing in a way because
this is directed, I think, exactly at us.
Yeah, I can verify this at the end of this video. I have some facts to back this up.
Okay, good. So he starts the video by showing a guy who's looking at the People magazine headline. It says, woman who appeared to hurl a racist slur at a child in a viral video has raised over $600,000 in her donations for herself. I believe that's over 800,000 now. It's something like that.
Oh.
Keeps climbing.
This lady, Shiloh Henderson, at a park in Minnesota, hurled the N-word.
This is completely unbelievable, but I swear to you, after this story, after this woman doing something racist on the internet raises her over $700,000, after all of that, if I hear one single further conservative call me a grifter for trying to raise money to help put a roof on this.
Yeah, Mike, you conservative. I know you're always being told what a conservative you are.
I can't find a home in this country.
Yeah, alt-right blindy.
Each side I go on, they don't want me.
I love that he's using this extreme case that's so wild. This whole story is bizarre.
This was really, at the end of the video, she's like, I hope everyone's going to talk about Karl and Mike now because of this.
Yes.
On this place, which is an art studio that supports.
Oh, let me back that up a little bit. He's got to justify his grift here. Oh. But this grift has nothing to do with a woman calling a kid the N-word, Dan. But okay.
It's also got nothing to do with politics.
Right.
Further conservative call me a grifter for trying to raise money to help put a roof on this place, which is an art studio that supports kids in vulnerable and marginalized communities. Because that's what I've been dealing with for a year. People calling me a grifter because I raised some funds for this place for real good in this world. But then those same people are just fine with that woman getting money for being a racist on the internet.
Oh, no. We're not fine with that. We were celebrating it. Mike and I were virtually high-fiving.
We're not attached to that. Just because Karl donated doesn't mean we're both fine with it.
Just because Karl Hamburger put $20,000 towards it.
Don't you love that though? Like without any, I don't think you talked about it on your show, right? Did you talk about this video?
No, I didn't.
without any idea what we think about it, if we've even seen the video, whatever, to just go, guys that love this video hate my art studio.
Yep. The guys who are celebrating that this woman made all this money for using a racial slur. I'm like, yeah, I don't remember celebrating that at all or saying it was a good thing because I don't feel that way.
I would dare defy that as ignorance, Daniel.
Getting that much money, I swear to you, if this isn't a testament for how broken our society is, then I don't know what is. And I don't know anything else to do other than to say we need change because this isn't okay. We should not be rewarding hatred as a society. We should be rewarding love. The only thing I can do at this point is say, I want change. And I'm going to be the change that we all deserve.
Wow.
Will you be the change too?
Powerful.
It really is.
Powerful stuff. I have a question for you, a little hypothetical.
Okay.
Would you allow a viral video of you calling a child the N-word to go out if you got paid $700,000 for it? Millions of people see you calling a child the N-word, and you get $700,000 for it.
Yeah. I think I would put sort of, say what you want about Massachusetts. The part of Massachusetts I'm from, I think I'd be celebrated for it. Western Mass is a whole different ballgame. So I could always go home.
Yeah, you get booked on Compound Media. You get a show on the weekends over there. All right.
Yeah, what the hell? That's not a bad chunk of change. I could invest it smartly, properly. So I think that's worth it.
I honestly don't know. I'd have to think about it. That would be some kind of scarlet letter.
Who's the lib now, huh, guys?
So this story is crazy because this woman's raised over $700,000 because that she got doxxed and she says she has to relocate now and all this stuff. The person who posted the video has been raising all of this money, and it turns out the person who posted it has been charged with S-ing a 16-year-old. I don't know if you heard about this.
Good Lord, no.
Yeah, like him and his brother are from Somalia, and they got this young girl to come to their house, and they kept her there for 24 hours and assaulted her multiple times. This is the story that I'm reading.
Just to back up a little, why are people donating to that person? Because he was called the N-word?
Why are people donating to him? But this is the craziest. I just found out about this today. The NAACP of this area in Minnesota also has a GoFundMe. They've raised $341,000.
Wow. This is a pretty lucrative video.
Yeah, this video has raised over $1 million for people.
This lady did a lot of good for a lot of people.
It says NAACP Rochester branch, our children are sacred. And it shows the picture of this woman. And then just, I think, some random black kid just being held by his dad and very upset. But it says the Rochester branch of the NAACP is outraged and deeply disturbed by a racist hate incident. Let us be clear. This was not simply offensive behavior. It was an intentional, racist, threatening, hateful, and verbal attack against a child, and it must be treated as such. And so they have to raise money for some reason. I mean,
now that I have the money, I don't mind the racial epithets.
This is some grift that's going on. Is this money going to that
money
child?
Solving? What is the money doing?
That's what everyone's trying to figure out. Like, how would this make anything better?
Rub this money on your wounds.
Also, the guy who started filming it, was the first one to use that word, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Is he allowed to? I haven't heard his voice.
I mean, I thought the whole problem was like he's a child. He shouldn't be hearing words like that.
That's fair. That's a good point.
I don't know. I don't understand this story at all. I wouldn't give anybody to anyone involved in this.
There was no money required.
I know.
There was not a transaction involved. There's no...
When... what was the Billy went to the dentist or whatever that video was, or Charlie bit my finger? I wasn't just like, where do I give money? This is a very entertaining video.
Right. This is a transaction between, and probably very often, what two homeless people are doing. You literally don't need money for this exchange.
Those people would actually need that money.
Yeah.
All right. This is another funny video.
Before we move on to that video, can I confirm that I believe he is talking about us?
Oh, yeah. Please.
Because I think people might be saying, Mike, you know, Daniel Alexander is a very famous guy. Everyone in Target knows who he is.
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck would he have time to know who you and Karl are? So what was troubling, thank God I found these videos, because at first when I logged into TikTok, I went into who I follow to find Daniel's account. I only follow a couple people on TikTok, and usually I click on his name, but his name was gone.
Oh, no.
And I thought,
oh, no.
I thought, that can't be. And then I search him, and the Shoe Fits account doesn't come up for me anymore.
Wow, you got blocked.
I don't use TikTok anymore.
I don't see you as a big TikToker, yeah.
I've barely ever used it. I've used to post clips of my show. I never tagged Daniel or anything. So to my knowledge, he didn't know my TikTok existed. But I have been blocked by Daniel Alexander.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So
now,
yes, that's
the remedy.
Us.
The remedy for this was I logged out of TikTok, and I can see all his TikToks now. So it wasn't that big a deal, but
it wasn't that difficult to get around that hurdle for you. Yeah, Dan's one of these guys who's like, if you don't like what I do, then you must be a conservative and a racist and a bigot. You know, it's like, no, we just think that you're a grifter and that what you're doing is ridiculous.
Right. If the videos aren't for me, then who are they for? Like, if anyone needs teaching, it's me. You know, I need to learn. I think Daniel's lying about this art studio. I need to learn the power of his ways. So if I'm blocked, how can I do that?
It's a good point. Yeah, Dan, you're really not helping yourself out here. It's almost like you want to just preach to the choir and get praise for it.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's what it seems like to me. It's like Stuttering John's political show. I'm only doing this so that Trump doesn't get reelected. You're like, you're talking to 17 Democrats at a time.
They're voting. They're voting against it. Don't worry.
They got you, buddy. All right, here's let's find out about Dan's coffee and how good it is.
Oh.
Either I serve the best damn coffee ever and my customers would do anything to come and get it, or when you do good in this world, good comes back around. Because the other day I was stuck under my truck trying to replace the power steering line. It needed to be replaced, and this is a mobile coffee shop. So if my truck isn't working, then I can't tow my coffee shop, and my customers don't get their coffee. And I mean, I have the battle wounds to prove that I was under that truck for hours trying to get the new line back in. Getting the old one out wasn't so bad, but getting the new one back in was pretty tough. Now, it got to be dark, and I was about to give up, and I'm really not good at asking for help. I'm pretty...
Whoa. Hold on a second. Record Lover pointed out on this one. I was like, oh, he's not good at asking for help? This is a man with 3 GoFundMes and an Amazon wish list. He doesn't ask for help at all?
No. What he said is, if none of those GoFundMes have met their goal, he's not good at it, which is accurate.
No one's even bought me 5 iPads from my Amazon wish list. Yes. Yeah, that's hilarious. I'm not good at asking for help.
And also, believes him, so he's correct.
Also, I don't think you should ask for help. I think you should pay a professional in this scenario. You know, if you're working on your brake light or something, you might want to have a pro do that for you.
This is where Daniel gets confused, where like gender doesn't matter, yet he's all man.
Right.
Like he's 6'1", 210 pounds of muscle, and he works on his own car. Well, like, who cares what men do, you know?
Give up, and I'm really not good at asking for help. I'm pretty terrible at it, to be honest, because I grew up with parents who believed that you should lift yourself up by your bootstraps, so asking for help sometimes can be complicated. I sent a message out to a bunch of my regular customers just so they know I wouldn't be there in the morning because...
He has a list of his customers' phone numbers or emails?
Terrifying.
I want to get on this list. I would love to be greeted with a Dan Alexander message in the morning.
What's your large coffee, 1 milk, 2 sugars? What's your phone number? Why?
Do you want me to start texting you regularly? Yeah, that'd be great, Dad. But please, here's my number.
I'm building a little community here. I want to text you when I need my engine replaced.
What a weirdo.
Because my truck was down, and one of those customers reached out to me and asked where I was at and came and helped me. And within 30 minutes, my truck was up and running, no issues, and I was impossibly thankful. Do I think it's because he really loves my coffee? Well, I think he likes my coffee quite a bit. He's here every day. But what I really think happens is I stop every morning to have a little conversation with him, to show some kindness, to talk with him, to make sure he's okay, just like I do all of my customers. And when you do good in this world, good comes back around.
So here's the translation I got from that. This customer he's talking about is a lonely loser. He's paying for a friend $5 at a time.
I thought we were at least going to get, and that customer was a woman, and we'd all go,
oh yeah.
Sadly,
and that customer was half Hispanic. Whoa. You don't say. It's amazing, Dan.
But he's like, he can't even be self-deprecating. Where what was it he said? That, he's like, do I think he missed it because he misses my coffee so much? Yeah, obviously that played into it. Like he could have said like, no, I think he's just being a nice guy. But he's like, no, I mean, I have the greatest coffee in the world. But also,
is it because I have the best coffee? Seems like it. He can't get enough. It's hilarious.
Having his cake and eating it too.
Oh boy. I mean, just a picture perfect narcissist is our friend Dan Alexander. We love him for it.
Yay, super chats.
And we also have Amanda Lynn Nappy coming in on supertip.gg/WATP.
I am currently working on a procedure that will allow trans women to squirt. It is there, right? I pledge to not attend a live show with Karl until I've perfected my procedure, and it won't be piss. I am currently working on a procedure that will allow trans women to...
It won't stop.
Yeah, all right, Dr. Steve. You're very excited about this work that you're doing. I appreciate it.
He does have the perfect voice to present that and not make it sound like a mock. Like Dr. Steve explaining how he's going to get trans women to squirt actually would sound scientific.
Yeah, you're scribbling down notes. You're like, okay, yeah, what are the dates on this? When are you going to start working on it? Do you need
and it's not just piss, you say. All right.
Good to know. Good to know.
It took me hours to fix that hose. Usually I have my acolytes back at my rape dungeon. Art studio. Handle my hoses.
I see what you did there. Don Fried Chicken, $5 says, how can you possibly do a show with Lady K after how he and the Aussie guy, aka Autistic Guy, slandered you?
I know. It was tough.
Mike's being the bigger man, I guess.
I guess so. I've moved on.
A CMOS 4044 with €5. Greetings, Karl and Mike. My friend Kyle is going to Hackamania. When you get there, I hope you all see Kyle. Okay. That's becoming a thing. I'm witnessing here. All right. Let's get back to Dan Alexander. And this is a classic. This is going back to October of 2022.
Yes.
I always like when we revisit what Dan used to do on TikTok.
I just had a real proud dad moment, and I want to share it with you, but trigger warning, this may offend some people.
Uh-oh.
It may not, and we'll see what type of person you are. So I walked in.
What kind of trigger warning is that? Like, I don't believe in trigger warnings, but like, tell me like what the subject matter might be if I'm going to be triggered by it.
He's kind of saying, we'll see how, if you're enough of a man to handle this.
Right. But a trigger warning, you might be offended. Will I be offended?
And here it is. Sneak attack.
Okay. Yeah. What the fuck?
So I walked into my oldest bedroom and he was doing his homework. And right now in social studies, they're learning about the Civil War. And I don't know how many questions he's done, but the last question on there was, how did this stockade affect the Confederate economy? And do you want to know what his answer was? Why would I care what affects the economy of a bunch of old racists?
Incorrect.
I'm really proud of that kid.
I just want to point out that learning is not about caring. When you learn about something, it doesn't mean you actually have to care about it. You just understand what happened.
Why would you care? Because this is social studies, and it's on your test, and it's part of your final exam. So.
Right. Second, was every single person in the Confederacy a racist? Every person?
Yeah.
What about Boston? Is every person in Boston a racist?
You know what? I'll say this. Compared to now, yes. But there's no like for the times, certainly not.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Good point. You're right. You put it in some historical context.
Jesus Christ. Imagine going back in time to call people racist. What would that be solving?
But don't you think there's probably a pretty high percentage of people who are like, I don't think we should be in a civil war at all. I like America. We should keep the states and let's free the slaves and move on. Like the vast majority of people did not own slaves in the South and probably were just like, I kind of want to be part of America still, guys. Why are we fighting? What's going on?
Right. It would be a lot like now, where some people are like, tariffs are great, and some people are like, I don't like tariffs. And most people don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Right. Most people would not know what they're talking about, just like it is now. You're right about that. Would you take social studies or something?
I did, and I filled in all my answers.
Why would I care? Do you imagine what he does in math class? I don't give a shit about this equation.
Hey, you know I have to mark this wrong, right?
This equation actually hurts my feelings. It's offensive to me. I will not be answering it. All right, another one from October of 2022 that Mike tracked down for us.
Mm-hmm.
A little over 2 years ago, I stopped to help a man change his tire, and he thanked me with the most awful and hateful comments I think I've ever received in person.
Oh, no.
It all began when I noticed he was on the side of the road with a flat tire and shaking his head, so I pulled over, which is something that I always do. He said, yeah, of course. I've never changed a tire before. I don't even know where to start. So I got to work. Somewhere along the lines, he realized that I had some bumper stickers and a couple of pins on my hat that did not align with his political beliefs. So he decided to tell me in that moment that all liberals live on their mom's couches in their basements. They don't work a day in their life, and they don't know how to do anything.
This is such a fake story right here.
Why?
Because I'll explain. When I have a guy like this who's got all these bumper stickers and pins and stuff like that, I do what everyone else does. I quietly judge them.
Sure, of course.
That's what everybody does. They think in their head, what a fucking retard.
Let me escalate this a little further. The guy's changing your tire.
Yeah.
You don't crouch down and get in his ear and go, "You're one of those liberal pussies, aren't you?" No, keep rotating. Keep rotating. Well, I tell you what a worthless little bitch you are.
Don't lose that lug nut. Now listen, you prick. It's so stupid.
You don't know how to do anything. He said this all as I was changing his tire, something he didn't know how to do. So, for the man this morning who decided to tell me that all liberals hate all conservatives, you're wrong. I'll stop to help anybody. In fact, that's what makes me a liberal. I care about other people.
Now, Mike, he wants so badly to have confrontation all day long, every day. He's got bumper stickers. He's got all the stickers at his mobile coffee shop. He says he's wearing pins. He wears those T-shirts that try to get conversations going. He just wants confrontation. Like, I have some wacky political views, but I don't have a T-shirt that says women shouldn't vote. I kind of keep that shit to myself and sometimes on my YouTube channel.
You do have a Sabres jersey that says QAnon on the back as the name, which I've always found odd.
That's hilarious. I don't think I'm going to do that. That would get a conversation going. Some guy comes up to me, he's like, "Hey, the Sabres," high fives me, and it looks like it's, oh, fuck.
They trade for him? I don't remember that.
Yeah, he's going to be the savior of the team. Finally make the playoffs, I think.
But his closing statement there is saying, like, I got a comment today that all liberals hate all conservatives and vice versa. And that's true, except for one man, me. I'm a hero. I stopped to help this guy, even though he hates me.
He's Jesus-like in that way.
Yeah. When I watch a lot of his videos now, there's sometimes he just pontificates about nothing. And he's making these hero statements. And sometimes I think, like, oh, that video wouldn't make sense for the show. It's obnoxious, but why would I play it? And then I think of that, not the intro we played today, but the Batman one.
Yes.
Like, all the statements he makes. I'm like, it's perfect for that. How you would think, like, the guy that made it from the Drew Lane show would have to search for days.
Right.
Every video, he has a sentence that would fit in that little jingle.
I would do anything in my power to keep him happy, healthy, and safe.
Shit like that.
The name that they would call their superhero was...
Yeah.
Every video has a statement like that.
Statements that you or I or any other normal person would never utter in their lives.
No, and I mean, unless it's about someone else. Like, if you had to write an essay about Martin Luther King or something.
Sure. You might have a kind thing to say, a nice compliment, but no one talks about themselves in that way.
Right.
Rocco Orby 2002, $2 says, "Is woke dad growing man boobs?" I don't know. It's a good question. Oh, good. See, Kyle is here and says, "I'm not going to Hackamania, so you won't see me." All right. We won't see Kyle at Hackamania.
What's that controversy to bet?
Finally, now we know how much seeing Kyle will happen at Hackamania. Supertip.gg/WATP.
What do you think is going to happen when casino security sees a guy with a potato wrestling mask walking across the casino floor?
He's probably going to get tackled.
It's Fremont Street. I mean, I think
that's true.
Right.
That's a good point. Yeah.
That guy got mad at me because I offered to grease his axle for free with both hands.
Oh, see, you didn't up that part out. Dan, now I'm understanding why. Let's hit some voicemails. We're doing a short show today. I got to get moving, headed to Las Vegas for Hackamania. But people were calling into the show, which we appreciate. Whoarethes.com to find the phone number. Just let us know that it's for WATS.
Hey, Heidi, hey, Carl, it's Jeremy. This is for WATS. You had mentioned on there that Dat Fan was talking about Lambertville, New Jersey. You were befuddled, saying, I've never heard of Lambertville. What is Lambertville? Well, check this out. It's literally right next to New Hope, Pennsylvania. They're a bridge apart from one another. And most, if not all, of the guys from Wien live either in Lambertville or New Hope. So I thought you might have known that, but apparently you didn't. Have the day you deserve.
I know they're from New Hope, but I don't know the surrounding towns.
You don't know the suburbs?
I'm also not stalking these people. I just enjoy their music, and I go to see them live when I can.
Wow. Not a real fan, it sounds like.
Apparently not. Apparently not.
This sounds like a hotbed of comedy, though. It makes sense that Dat Fan would move there.
Right.
What's up, Mike? And I guess Carl, WATS. It's Bossy and Dad. I just want to know what you, maybe Christian Blatt in the chat, could tell me. Soto just hit some dingers today. Should I be worried about him? The ground balls, he's still hitting them hard. But there's a lot of ground balls, not a lot of production. It's a big contract. It's a long contract. And yeah, that fan might be retarded, and Daniel Alexander is still a pedophile.
All right, very good. Thank you. I'm glad you worked in something that's relevant to the show.
Interesting. All interesting thoughts, though.
Did you have any thoughts on Soda?
No, other than I'm glad you rectified this, because Box Eating Dad did reach out to me and say, why is Carl censoring my Soto talk? Said, I'll get to the bottom of it.
That's hilarious. I mean, I would think as a Yankees fan, you want to see him fail, right?
That is true in a way.
Okay.
He's a turncoat.
Yes, okay. That's what I would have thought.
Carl, my friend, I want to apologize profusely for ruining WATS with my banter jingles. It seems like the more work I put into them, the worse they sound.
Stop it.
And though I can play them dozens and dozens of times and tweak them endlessly at my end, and they sound acceptable, when they come out on your end, they sound dreadful.
Ugh.
So I apologize. But that's okay. I'm not despondent. We will go back to the drawing board and work things out. I just wanted to say I'm sorry and thank you. And
don't apologize.
I'm glad you made this guy come to us
and I
hand.
will be 2 feet from your face. Thank you, my friend.
Dame Taft, we appreciate your contributions to the show. I just pointed out you were trying to sing some songs that are, difficult for pros to sing.
You properly shamed him, and he paid his penance.
Yeah, seriously. We appreciate people who send in jingles and other things to the show to help us improve our product. And so thank you, Dame Taft, for all of your efforts.
Hey, this is for Who Are These Socials? I'm a bit of an impressionist. I'm going to do my impression of Blind Mike doing Alec Baldwin. My God, Hilaria, what are you doing? And now I'm going to do Blind Mike doing Chad Zumock. My God, I was jumped by 5 Negroes.
Chad Zumock.
I'm going to do one more for you. Blind Mike doing Woke Dad. My God, a black just came to my coffee stand. No way. Later, faggots.
Okay.
Jesus. Hey, Blind Mike, you live fag. Just kidding, love you guys. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. Vinny's fat, too. Fuck you. Wow. I want to tit fuck Jenny. Sorry.
Wow. The energy really changed at the end there, didn't it?
He packed a lot into that.
Okay.
I think I do a Chad Zumock impression.
I think he's saying all your impressions sound the same.
One note. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
it was never an Alec Baldwin impression. I was kind of just talking the way he talked, and I guess it sounded like him. But I probably do that for other people.
Listen, for a long time, anytime I was doing my Opie impression, it was just Stuttering John. Yeah. So I get it. These things happen.
There's a classic Kirk Minahan show segment where we're making fun of Dave, and Kirk and I are going back and forth in that voice, and I just didn't realize it was an Alec Baldwin impression.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Hey, this is for Who Are These Socials? I'd like to say it has fast become one of my favorite podcasts that I do not miss.
Thank you.
I wanted to share with the group that I was blocked immediately by Daniel Alexander, Woke Dad.
Me
because
too.
On one of his TikToks, I commented, the reason that your eyes are brown is because you're full of shit.
Okay.
And I was blocked.
Yeah,
so I'm glad that I can get my Daniel Alexander Woke Dad, and I love the theme song, this way. Because I am no longer allowed to watch or participate in his universe. Thank you. Have a great day, guys. Love the show. Hugs and kisses. Bye.
I think this guy was just bragging. I think he just called in to brag about this.
Well, sir, while you did deserve it a little more than me, we are part of the same club still.
Right. Yes, you can always log out and still watch him.
Yeah.
There is a workaround. One more here.
Hey, this is for Who Are These Socials? I just want to correct Mike. When he said that he didn't go to school with any trans people, I just want to make sure that he's aware that he's wrong. Sorry, Mike, tranny. Yeah. Goodbye.
Is that a classmate of yours, Mike?
I have no idea. I don't recognize the voice. I don't think I said were you openly trans, sir or ma'am, whatever?
Right.
If you did, we didn't respect your pronouns, unfortunately, so I apologize.
Good point. Daddy Poopy coming in.
What did Jose say when Kyle asked him if he liked my mobile coffee shop? See, Kyle.
See, Kyle. All right.
That's fun.
Getting a little more clever.
Yeah.
I like that. All right, Mike, we got to wrap up, but because everyone has the whole afternoon and evening off from Who Are These Socials, they have time to visit blindmike.net.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, you can check out all my podcasts, Blind Mike Project, Why Are You Laughing? And the audio links for Who Are These Socials are there at blindmike.net. We will be live Sunday at 10 a.m., even though it's Mother's Day. I don't care about my family, so I'll be there, and Casey Day will be there with me. So we will be live Sunday morning, and Why Are You Laughing? The Steve Renazizi episode is up right now. People seem to be enjoying that.
I did enjoy that.
Oh, thank you. And I think the next episode we're doing is Colin Quinn's Long Story Short, the first of his one-man shows. We're doing a breakdown of that, which was on HBO. So we'll be doing that. That should be up for members tomorrow. And blindmike.net is where you can find all those links.
And also, we encourage people to go to WATPlive.com because we will be live in Boston June 21st at the City Winery, even though Mike likes to pretend that he's not going to be there. And that,
we'll see.
I'm using him as slave labor for some reason. He's throwing out all these wild accusations. But Mike,
I pointed out that you said, "Hey, feel free to promote that if you'd like." I said, "Ooh, can I? You mean it?"
No, what you said was let's actually say, because you like to leave out details.
Go ahead.
What you said was, "Oh, can I promote this thing that I'm doing for free?" And so I reached out to you and I said, Mike, I'm going to pay you to be on this live
show. I don't want to make it seem like I want.
I don't know why you assume this kind of thing, and then you make me look like an asshole. There's certain subreddits that are looking for that kind of information.
Oh, is that right? I didn't think about that stuff.
Yeah, I understand. But yeah, we'll be live in Boston, June 21st. Tickets are going very quickly. There's less than 100 left from what I saw last. And also Hackamania this weekend. You can stream at hackamania.com and watch all the live shows. We're going to be, this little piggy's going to be off the hook with Paul Shea and Nick Rekieta and evidence that Aaron ingested jism. Aaron's been talking about that a lot on his show.
You're going to see the full video.
I can tell he's very nervous about it. That's going to be great. Oh, a quick one coming at the very end. Voltaire 325. Karl, this liberal Bill Burr loving Blind Mike guy is really cramping your style. I know. It's a problem. We'll have a meeting about it afterwards.
It's not what Woke Dad calls me.
Oh, Amanda Lynn Nappy just came in too.
Karl, hurry up and get to Vegas! Aaron is here, and he's beating up Patrick, Moody, and Tukey!
All right, I gotta go. Holy shit, this is an emergency. They need me. Right. So I think that's the one we sign off, Mike.
Have the day you deserve, everyone. Go, go, go.
Anyway, social media, I'll catch you later, man.
Who are these socials?
That's what this audience wants to hear. They're like, whoa!
Who are these socials?
I'm the one who should apologize. Folks, what you were about to see is real.
With Karl.
Okay, we got it.
And Blind Mike.
Who could have thought of that?